Welcome into the Monday episode of the David Hookstead Show. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Unfortunately, where I was at, it was very stormy, very wet. Weather was very, very shitty, but even so, we did find a way to have a little bit of fun this weekend, so that's good. I think this is kind of the last cold streak / rainy part before we're going to be in full-blown summer here over the coming up in the next couple days. So I'm excited about that. Good weather, should be fun. Anyways, let's jump right into it right off the bat. The first thing I want to talk about is some Dallas Mavericks fans, allegedly, reportedly, however you want to hedge it, got physical with Chris Paul's family Sunday night during a Mavericks win in Game 4 over the Suns. There is a video that is out where you can see Chris Paul yelling at someone as security is pulling them away. The person security is pulling away actually looks incredibly young. Very, very, very young. Here's what I want to say about this, and it's what I've always said. Number one, if you're a full-grown adult and you find yourself fighting or getting physical with another human, you are a clown, you are a loser, you should be dealt with by the law accordingly. There's no excuse as a full-grown adult to get engaged in a physical altercation unless someone's life or immediate safety is at risk. Obviously, if a gunman comes in and start spraying lead everywhere and you got a weapon on you, use it, right? Use it if you feel like you need to. Other than that, now, if you're like 12 years old, look, when you're 10, 11, 12, especially young boys, we all do stupid things. We know that. It's okay. But once you're a full-grown adult, there is never, ever, ever an excuse to put your hands on anyone ever. And if you're going to do it, you should suffer the consequences. You want to be a big tough guy. You want to push around an NBA star player's family. How do you think you'd match up against an NBA player one-on-one in a physical altercation? I don't care how tough you think you are. Odds are very high. You ain't rolling with a pro athlete. It just ain't going to happen. So if you want to be a tough guy and you want to go out there and you want to hit their wives or you want to push their mom around, square up with them. Square up with a dude who's 6'4" and 215 of pure muscle. Be a badass. Be a tough guy. See how far it gets you. See how far it gets you in this world when someone who is way bigger than you and way stronger than you and way more physical than you beats the living shit out of you. We'll see how big of a tough guy you are then. Now, again, if you feel like your life is in imminent danger, do what you got to do. If you feel like someone else's life is in imminent danger, do what you got to do. But if you find yourself fighting for any other reason than that, and you're an adult, you belong in jail because you are a loser. You know, I knew a guy growing up and then into college even. I don't really know whatever became of this person. This guy loved to fight. I mean, he loved to look for physical altercations. And he was a loser. He was a very unimpressive individual. I didn't find him to be particularly, he didn't stand out in anything, probably suffered from some self-confidence issues, and he loved the idea of physical altercations. Folks, you pick on the wrong person and they're armed, that attitude can get you killed. And that's a perfect segue to what I want to talk about next. I see a lot of people threatening over politics recently. And ever since the decision about Roe v. Wade leaked, the draft leaked, we've seen protests, we've seen threats of violence, we've seen the Supreme Court justices are under protection. There's been one report that I think Alito's been moved to an undisclosed location. First off, I got no problem with peaceful protesting. Peaceful protesting is not an issue whatsoever to me. It is a good thing. It is the backbone of America to peacefully air your grievances with the government. However, the moment you cross the line and you start threatening people, you start threatening churches, you start threatening government officials, you start threatening people who disagree with you politically, now you've crossed the line. You know, it's very sad we now are apparently in a situation where churches are targeted because the people worshiping inside them hold certain views on abortion, certain views on whatever it might be. If you threaten to go to a church and commit acts of violence or harassment or whatever it might be, I hope you are arrested and I hope you serve every single day in a jail that you deserve. And furthermore, if I was in a church right now, I would feel much safer knowing there were people there that were armed and ready to protect the worshipers and the people at the church than if they weren't. In a city like D.C., you're at the mercy of the criminals, and you got to hope that the police show up. My greatest fear right now is that someone goes to a church, commits an act of violence, and the police don't show up in time to stop it, and there's no one there to stop it because guns are essentially restricted from being had. I mean, we have a concealed carry law here that's written in a way that is, even though it's legal, they make it as impossible as they possibly can. I would not want to be anywhere near a church right now where everyone was unarmed. Do you see the lunatics that are running around right now? Do you see the mob at the gates, the jackals at the gates of civilization right now? Are you kidding me? Who wants to go anywhere and risk dealing with those people? They are dangerous, violent people. And again, I'm not saying people who peacefully protest. These are two different groups. People who peacefully protest, I'm all for that. I don't care what you're protesting for. I personally am not a big fan of wasting my time doing that. I'd rather just voice my opinion and move on. No problem with that. But if you're going to threaten people, you're going to threaten the kids of government officials, you're going to threaten Supreme Court members, you're going to threaten Christians, you're going to threaten churchgoers. Hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You pull that shit in the wrong area. It goes back to what I just previously said. You pull that shit on someone who's armed, and they could punch your ticket to the next life, and you 100% have it coming. So that's frankly my thoughts on that. Stay safe, stay alert. If something looks wrong, if it feels wrong, it likely is wrong. Trust your gut. Just because something feels off does not mean that you've done something wrong. If you look at someone and they're acting shady and they're acting suspicious and it's 85 degrees outside and they got a coat on and they're coming into a church, ask them some questions. Okay? Use your situational awareness. The best way to stay alive? Pay attention to what is around you. If it's 85 and sunny and some dude you've never seen before walks into your church and he's got a coat on and it looks like something's swinging underneath it, stop him and ask what the hell is going on. Doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't make you a person who's profiling or any of that shit. We've been taught to believe that if you feel uncomfortable with a situation, the problem must be with you. No, that's not the truth at all. If you feel like someone you don't recognize is not acting normal, given the heightened situation, act accordingly. Ask them questions. Identify what's going on. I mean, it's simple things like that. Again, if it's 90, 95, 100 degrees out and some guy walks into a church and he's wearing a coat, that's a red flag. Some guy walks in, he's got his face covered up, that's a red flag. There's nothing wrong with identifying the people around you. All right, finally, we got two things on the Western Front. Yellowstone Season 5 is expected to start in late summer 2022, so that could mean August, could mean September, but it's going to come back in late summer, so that's good news. It's going to be split up in two parts. Remember, we're going to get 7 episodes in part 1, 7 episodes in part 2, very similar to what they just did with Ozark. I can't wait to see what we get. Obviously, I'm a huge Yellowstone fan. I have my Yellowstone tumbler right behind me, big Yellowstone fan. Can't wait. Should be a ton of fun. I wish we would get it sooner, but I'm willing to, wait that extra time as long as it turns out to be good, and I think it will be. Point 2 on the Western thing, and this really shows how the market is adapting to this non-woke, these great shows that are just about great entertainment instead of being woke. I finished season 1 of Outer Range Friday morning. Obviously, you all read about it on the site. Josh Brolin, Outer Range is a phenomenal show. Now, I'm not going to spoil it here. I do talk about spoilers in the article, but I made some predictions after the first couple episodes. I made some predictions about what I thought was going to happen. I was right on one of my major predictions. Now, I was off on the timeline, but the prediction in and of itself was 100% correct. So that was kind of neat to see. This show is literally Stranger Things. If you took Stranger Things, Yellowstone, and Twin Peaks and threw them into a blender and blended them all up, that is what Outer Range is. It's not a traditional Western by any sense, and I don't want any of you to think it is because that's just simply not the case. It is outstanding. It is phenomenal. I hope you guys all give it a shot. I can't recommend it enough. If you like Yellowstone, if you like Stranger Things, if you like Twin Peaks back in the day, it is all of that and more. So that's all we have for the Monday episode of The David Hookstead Show. I will see you all back here Tuesday, and we have a very special interview coming up that I'm not going to spoil, but make sure to check back for that. Have a great day. See you all tomorrow.